Have you noticed that politics doesn't feel like politics anymore? It feels like religion. And what's scary is it doesn't matter how many facts you bring. It doesn't matter how calm you are. Because the second certain topics come up, like immigration, people don't just disagree, they rage. And that's not random. It's psychology. Let's be honest. Most political conversations today don't feel like conversations. They feel like you're walking into a war zone. You say one sentence, and suddenly someone is calling you evil, stupid, brainwashed, or dangerous. And the crazy part is, they don't even listen to what you actually said. They respond to what they think you mean. And if you've ever wondered why, this is why politics feels like religion now. Politics used to be opinions. Like, you could disagree about taxes or laws and still be friends. But now, politics became identity. It became your tribe. It became your values. It became your version of good versus evil. And once something becomes identity, it stops being negotiable. Because when someone attacks your political belief, your brain doesn't hear, maybe I should reconsider. Your brain hears, they're attacking who I am. And that is literally why it feels like religion, because religion isn't just an idea, it's belonging. And that leads to the second thing people don't want to admit. Facts don't change minds. Not because facts are useless, but because facts are not what most people are protecting. Most people are protecting their ego. They're protecting their identity. They're protecting the story they built their life around. Because if someone accepts your facts, it might mean they were wrong. And being wrong isn't just embarrassing, it's threatening. Because if you admit you were wrong about one major belief, you might have to admit you were wrong about your friends, your political side, your values, your worldview, and worst of all, you might have to admit you were manipulated. And the human brain would rather feel certain than feel humiliated. So instead of accepting the facts, people reject them. They say, that's fake, that's biased, that source is propaganda. Not because they checked, but because their brain is defending. Now, let's talk about immigration, because immigration is one of the best examples of this. Immigration debates trigger rage because it hits the three deepest human fears. Fear number one, safety. When people hear immigration, some brains instantly imagine danger, crime, chaos, loss of control. Fear number two, scarcity. People think jobs, housing, healthcare. What if there isn't enough? And fear number three is identity, because immigration forces people to ask a question they don't want to ask. What does my country even mean? What does being American mean? Who belongs here? And once you activate safety, scarcity, and identity all at once, you don't get a calm conversation, you get war mode. And this is where things get dark, because once your brain enters tribal mode, you stop seeing the other person as a human. You see them as a threat. And the easiest way to feel safe is to feel morally superior. So instead of saying, I disagree with you, people say, you're evil. Because if the other side is evil, you don't have to understand them. You don't have to listen. You don't have to feel doubt. And doubt is uncomfortable. Doubt feels like losing. And here's the part nobody wants to talk about. The internet is designed to make this worse. Because outrage is addictive. Outrage gives your brain dopamine. It gives you certainty, adrenaline, belonging, and an enemy. And algorithms love enemies because anger keeps you watching. So the more extreme the content gets, the more it spreads. And over time, your brain stops craving truth. It starts craving the feeling of being right. So what do you do? Because if facts don't work and politics became religion, how do you have conversations without losing your mind? Here are 3 things that actually work. Step 1. Stop arguing facts first. Start with values. Because values are the language of identity. Step 2. Ask questions that lower ego. Not, how can you believe that, but what made you feel that way? And step 3. Remember this rule. People don't change when they feel attacked. They change when they feel safe. And yes, that takes emotional control. But if you can do that, you can talk to almost anyone. So that's why politics feels like religion now. That's why facts don't change minds. And that's why immigration debates trigger so much rage. It's not because everyone is stupid. It's because the brain was never designed for modern political warfare. It was designed for tribes. And the second politics becomes identity, truth becomes optional, because the real argument isn't about facts, it's about belonging. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. If you want a part 2 on how to actually talk to people without it turning into a fight, comment part 2.